So I'm here to talk to you about an unhealthy food that comes in a styrofoam container. And you're wondering why I would talk about this? Well, 3 reasons. There are great lessons for businesses. It was captured in an awesome Japanese comic book. And it takes less time to cook than an Ignite presentation. So 1970s Nissin Food Company is facing financial crisis. Competitors have copied ramen, so they're trying to figure out what to do. The president wants to expand into America, but Americans don't have donburi bowls to cook ramen in. So he assembles a team of people. He brings them in. He says, I want you to create me a new product. I want instant ramen in a cup, everything in it. All you need to do is add water, cooks in 3 minutes. Easy, right? But nothing like this had ever been done before. In fact, the team didn't even know if it was possible. And the only reason this product got created was because the president had such passion and such faith in this vision. He believed that this would be a successful product, even when things made it look like it wouldn't. And he convinced the team to take on this challenge. And they didn't just take on this challenge, they also embraced the constraints that were given to them. They didn't say, we need 3 minutes, no, we need 4. Instead, they said, we'll make this happen. Sort of like a 5-minute presentation. So the first challenge that they had was they had to figure out a container design. They needed something that would hold boiling water, that people could carry, that would cook the food. And the way that they came up with the container design was that they created thousands of different containers with lots of different material. And I love this description of this iterative design process of ideas piled upon ideas, this trial and error process and what comes out of it. And it's the way to really great products. And at the end of the process, after several months of doing this, I actually came up with a very innovative container, something that was revolutionary. And we don't think of this as revolutionary right now, but at the time it really was. It was using new materials in a way that had never been done before. But this was just the first challenge. The second challenge was the president said, I want toppings. I want meat, I want vegetables. They need to cook in 3 minutes as well. And none of the food processing techniques of the time could do this. So how did they solve the problem? Well, they used freeze drying. And I love this, right? Like only in Japanese culture could you get this image with lightning in the background and like all of this sort of stuff. Like this is a mundane moment, but this was key to actually creating this product. And the only reason it happened was Ohana-san was trained in food chemistry, not food processing like the rest of the team. But food chemistry wasn't going to help him find red shrimp. And red shrimp was the next challenge because red shrimp were considered a delicacy in Japan and the president wanted them. But Ohana-san was limiting himself. He wasn't thinking about the many different varieties of red shrimp in the world. He was only looking at the ones that were common. And when he opened his mind, he went into a bar and he found the red shrimp by ordering a shrimp cocktail. And I love this Obi-Wan sort of statement that this is the red shrimp I've been looking for, right? So the next challenge is that they had the container design, but the noodles were either burnt or weren't cooking all the way through. And they needed to figure out a way to make that happen. And the way they ended up solving this problem actually turned out to be really simple. They suspended the noodles. They put less noodles in the container. They suspended the noodles in the container. And then convection took the hot water through the noodles and cooked them all the way through. Now, but like any revolutionary product, people weren't ready for a cup noodle. People thought the iPod would suck when it first came out. People thought cup noodle was redundant, that it wouldn't sell, that it was expensive. Some people even asked if it was really food, which is something that we ask ourselves sometimes. So Nissin figured out that they needed to go back and look at the way that they were marketing it, and that they were marketing it incorrectly. They were selling it the same way that they sold ramen, and really what they needed to do was they needed to talk about the time savings and the convenience of the product, what set it apart from other products. The other thing that they did that was different was that they went to Ginza, the major shopping district in Japan, and they gave it away free for 2 days. And by the end of 2 days, they had lines around the corner of people who were interested in trying out this product. So word of mouth advertising. So now you know the secret of cup noodle. The freeze drying technique keeps the colors in, the nutrients in. The suspension of the noodles in the cup actually allows them to cook fully, and the container serves 3 purposes. But this isn't the amazing thing to me. The amazing thing to me is that for over 30 years, cup noodle has been disaster relief food. It's the way we address the USSR's collapse, the Asian tsunami, Katrina. There are warehouses full of cup noodle waiting for the next disaster. And the final thing is that I love how this comic book is celebrating all these small moments along the way. Whether it's finding the red shrimp or figuring out freeze drying, make sure to celebrate with your teams. Thank you very much.